You're listening to the 143rd edition of the Bitachon podcast, and we were reading together these two pasukim, one next to the other, in chapter 33 of Psalms of Tehillim, verses 21 and 22. We will rejoice, our heart will rejoice in Hashem, for we have trusted in His holy name. In the second passuk, Hashem, let your kindness be upon us, just as we have hoped to you. So, the passuk indicates, the second passuk, which we're going to speak about today, the passuk indicates that according to the way that we trust in Hashem, that is how Hashem responds and does kindness to us. This is a classic idea. We've discussed this previously. The Alter Navardik talks about it, and it's a very important yesod, a foundational idea when it comes to Bitachon, when it comes to trusting in Hashem. And that is, we think, we naturally feel, and we experience perhaps even, that according to how much effort I put in, according to how much I try, how hard I try, we always tell our kids, I care how hard you try, but ultimately we believe that according to how much we try, that's how the results are going to manifest. And the truth is, as we learn from the pasukim, and as we understand, if we internalize and study the concept of Bitachon, the truth is that according to how much we trust in Hashem, according to how much we put our faith in God, according to how much we are miyachel to God, right? This could be a prayer or it could be a statement. Hashem, His kindness will be upon us according to how much we have tried to trust in Him, how much we have felt, hoped that He would help us. So let's see a few different ideas based on this passuk together. The first he brings here from the Ramami Panu. Mishpatoi. This passuk means, the Ramami Panu says that it doesn't go by how strongly, and we'll see different opinions about this, and some people out there, some of you may have had different experiences with this. The Ramami Panu says that it doesn't go by how strongly I believe, but just that I'm consistent in my belief. Like a shir shazayesh like kitzvah, right? It can't be based on how strongly I believe. L'chesed Hashem ein lekitzvah. It has to be based on the fact that I am trusting in Him, or perhaps that I continue to bring myself back to trust in Him. And if I do that, if I keep bringing myself back, right, that's something Hashem can ask of us. That's something that we could ask of ourselves. I failed, perhaps. I didn't trust in You with all my strength, but I keep coming back to You. I keep coming back to my strength, to my faith in You, which is my strength. And in that merit, because we are trying to trust in You, Hashem. So therefore, Your kindness, Hashem's kindness is infinite. God is infinite. But we are finite. We are human beings, right? So Hashem can't ask of us, we can't expect of ourselves an infinite amount of trusting, or an infinite depth of trusting. But Hashem can ask of us, and we can ask of ourselves to keep coming back to it. Keep coming back to our trust in Hashem. The Radak says, Yehi, kein yeh chazach aleinu b'chal eis b'chal zman, k'moi she'ichalnu. If we trust, maybe even once, according to the Radak, let's say I have like that full measure of trust, that Hashem, You're going to help me, and You're going to always help me. So the result should be, please Hashem, let it be that Your kindness is with us at all times, because that's what I believed. That's what I hoped. Please allow it to be that my hope comes true. Rav Avram ben Ramoch says, Yeshlemer kasher yechalolach ein anu shalom el she tamud lanu kifa'aleinu. Rav Avram ben Ramoch says, we are asking Hashem that when He measures out the kindness that He wants to do with us, it should be based on our actions. He says, what are we doing with our minds all day? We are always turning back to you, Hashem. We are always coming back to you, Hashem. We are always asking you for help. We are always praying to you 3 times a day we daven. And throughout the day, we're trying to make that connection to you, Hashem. We're always doing it. Hashem, please always give us your kindness. Rabbi Avram ben Ramoch says, according to how we desire it, according to how much we hope that Hashem will take care of us, that's how much it's going to be. Hashem tzilcha al yad yaminecha, as we'll see, God is our shadow. Hashem tzilcha means that just like a shadow, as your hand moves, as the Alter Levardik says, just as the shadow moves when our hand moves, so to Hashem, according to how much we hope to Him, not how much hishtadlus we do, not how much efforts we put in, according to how much we hope to Him, sincerely as we can, as constantly as we can. That's how much we're going to see that Hashem's kindness is shown to us. We'll see it openly, right? Of course, Hashem's kindness is always shown to us. We don't always see it. But it's easier to see it when we're hoping, as we've spoken about. Now he brings the Ramban in Iyov, chapter 36, verse 7. And this is a famous Ramban to those who study Bitachon. Ki adam mipnei shu makir selikav, yashkiach alav yishmar isay. When a person knows Hashem, when we recognize God, Hashem will give us hashgacha, Hashem will protect us. This is not true of other animals, of other creations of Hashem. The hashgacha pratis is reserved, the divine providence, which shows special care for the human being, is specifically for the human being, because an animal does not speak, and it doesn't have the ability to recognize its creator. But a human being does. Now, because of this, there is a special protection for righteous individuals. Interesting. The Ramban brings the passuk, which refers to the land of Israel, which we know, of course, has special hashgacha pratis, has incredible divine providence in the land of Israel. It's not like anywhere else in the world. The land of Israel, naturally, even the person who may not be as righteous, the fact that a person lives in Israel, which is a challenge, Eretz Yisrael's niknas b'yisurin, Eretz Yisrael, the land of Israel, is acquired through challenges and difficulties. The righteous individual, no matter where they are, this passuk applies to them. The righteous individual turns to Hashem, places his trust in Hashem, and therefore has more hashgacha pratis, has more divine providence. And I would add that the land of Israel makes us, when we live in Israel, when we come back to who we are, where we belong, the land of Israel forces us, through the challenges, to turn to God, to turn back to Hashem. Look what's happening right now in the land of Israel. Even those who are far away from our tradition, still, they are turning back towards tradition. They are turning back towards the God of their forefathers. Tamid. The righteous individual attaches himself, and this is our ideal, this is what we should strive for. Of course, to claim that we're righteous, that we won't do, But to claim that we would like to be righteous, that we strive for righteousness, that we do claim. And this is what it looks like. The absolute righteous individual attaches himself completely to Hashem, constantly bringing his thoughts back to God in any matter of the world. He's hungry, he says, Hashem, feed me. He needs parnasa, he needs livelihood, Hashem, send me livelihood. He wants to understand a pshat in the Ramban, in Eiv. He says, Hashem, help me understand what the Ramban is saying. So this person, Nishmar Tamim, Mikol Mikra Azman, Ramban says that this kind of person who attaches his thoughts to Hashem constantly, that person, no matter what he's going through in his life, no matter where he finds himself, on the battlefield, the literal physical battlefield, or the battlefield of life, trying to earn his parnasa, his livelihood, he will be helped beyond the natural means. He will be protected with a miracle. Hashem will constantly do miracles for this person. The person who places his faith completely in Hashem, the person who does this, he's not a worldly person in the sense that he's higher, he's like an angel. He's walking among men, but he's an angel. According to how much the person attaches himself to God, he'll have a more powerful protection. A person who's distant from God in his thoughts and his actions, even if he isn't liable for death for the sin that he's done, but such a person will be left to whatever's happening, whatever happens. There is such a thing as whatever happens. Pasuk says, the eye of Hashem is to those who fear Him, to those who hope for His kindness, as we saw a few weeks ago. This means that the tzaddik, the righteous individual, who we strive to be, that person is looking to Hashem, constantly attaching his soul to God. And here's an integral and important for today lesson. If we are deserving, if we are attaching ourselves to God, if we are turning to God for help, if we are acting as righteously as we can, we go out with only a few soldiers are needed to go out to battle, and we don't even need any ammo, says the Ramban, and we are victorious. But if we are not properly righteous, if we are not properly attaching ourselves to God, as many soldiers as we have, as much ammo as we have, won't help us. Raka Inyan. So, what happens if we don't place our trust in Hashem is that, heaven forbid, we are left to natural means. And when it comes to nature, if we are dependent on nature and our physical ability, that's just not going to cut it. That's just not going to give us the victory that we need, because the odds are just stacked against us. There's just too many. There's too many Arabs. There's too many enemies. And this reminds me, it's very interesting. I saw in the psukim, in the blessings of Yehuda, we saw at the end of the parsha of Parshas Vayechi, Yaakov Avinu gave special blessings to Yehuda. Yehuda, which is the forebear, he is the forebear of King David, of David HaMelech, And he's the forebear of Mashiach ben David. And listen to the difference between Mashiach ben David and Mashiach ben Yosef, because it has to do with us very much. The difference is that Yaakov says to Yehuda that when you chase your enemies, you will grab them from behind. You will grab them from behind means that they'll be running away from you. The unique, and this is miraculous, because King David, Yehuda, Mashiach ben David, the Messiah who comes from King David, is somebody who lives in a miraculous way. He fights in a miraculous way, which is what we're discussing here, which is why it comes to mind for me. Mashiach ben Yosef is a different kind of Mashiach, of a Messiah. He fights as we fight today. He fights with power, with resolve, with Hashem. But it's not the miraculous type. We live in the world of Mashiach ben Yosef at this time. We have to do ishtadlus, we have to put in efforts, we have to go out to battle, we have to have ammo. Mashiach ben David, they're running away. That's the blessing of Yehuda. They're running away. Mashiach ben David is able to get them from behind, because they're in flight. And that's miraculous, because enemies face off with us with chutzpah, with audacity. And that's how it is today, but it's going to change as we go into the age of Mashiach ben David, and as we have a leader like Mashiach ben David, so these things will change. And we'll be so dependent on Hashem in a good way. We'll be so connected to Hashem. Everything will be miraculous. They'll be turning away from us. They'll be running away from us. They'll be so... The passuk says, the nations of the world will see that Hashem's name is upon us. When? Chazal say it's when they see the tefillin on our heads, which of course our soldiers today are trying to do. Now there's really a lot more on this passuk, and we're running out of time, so I think we'll continue with this passuk next week. I'll just read a few more lines. This is the oil Yaakov. The salvation that we experience, the victory that we want to experience, depends on how much we trust in Hashem. Like the passuk says, please let your kindness be upon us the way that we have hoped to you. Pasuk says in Isaiah chapter 30, verse 15, you will be saved in a calm way. With quietude and with confidence. That's your power. That's going to be your power. If we have bitachon, if we have confidence, not in ourselves, obviously, but in Hashem, when our confidence is in Hashem, so then we are saved without any kind of stress, without difficulty. Uchemamar, ani l'doidi v'doidi li. Pasuk says, I'm to my beloved, and my beloved is to me. I have a relationship with my beloved, which is Hashem. According to how perfect or how much we have worked on our bitachon in Hashem, our trust in God, that's how Hashem responds and saves us in a miraculous way, which doesn't require so much stress. Right? It's true that we need to do hishtadlus, but how much hishtadlus do we need to do? According to how much hishtadlus we have to do, there's going to be more stress. And according to how much bitachon that we have, We need less hishtadlus. We need less efforts. And according to how much hishtadlus we need, that's how much stress we have. So here's a tip, a stress tip. Trust in Hashem. The Bear of Rum says, according to how long we've been waiting. Sometimes we wait before we get our salvation. Sometimes we wait before the answers come, the answers we're looking for. But if we're waiting, and we're waiting, and we're waiting, there's a parallel. If we're waiting and hoping, not demanding, so important, not demanding, but believing, confidence. So in measure for measure, the kindness and the salvation comes. When a person hopes Hashem in this way, so they're hoping for the ultimate good. And that ultimate good, which comes from Hashem, it's endless. Hashem is endless, and His kindness is endless. Thank you so much for listening. See you again next time.